Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video from Radio 1.
What if you're a parent in a time like this, really struggling to keep your kids occupied, trying to find interesting classes and failing miserably? Well, that's where I think technology can help you out a little bit. And I'm not saying technology in like the negative sense, put them in front of a screen, they're done with it. But really, how can technology help parents in a time like this? That's honestly the kind of conundrum that Anusha was kind of struggling with when she was trying to find interesting classes for to keep her 6 and 8-year-old occupied, as Mumbai started to go into lockdown and combat COVID-19. And of course, she teamed up with her classmate, which you'll get to hear from in just a bit as well. And together, they both are the co-founders of something called Lesson Leap. Ladies, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Oh, good
I'm
afternoon.
great.
It's afternoon in Amsterdam. Okay, cool. Awesome. Hey, I want to kind of figure things out with how this kind of started, but I already told the story right before the break. But Anusha, you were struggling to keep your 6 and 8-year-old occupied in the city, and then the idea of Lesson Leap kind of came about. How long has Lesson Leap kind of been around?
We've been around since August of last year. Deepti and I started talking about it in March, April of last year when things started locking down, but our first classes went out in August of last year.
Wow. Okay, cool. And Deepti, who's the easier one to work with? And you can be honest. Is it you or is it Anusha? Who's the cooler one in the business?
Oh, definitely Anusha. I mean, she's a mom of two amazingly high energy daughters. So she gets all the cool Gen, I don't even know what it is, Gen Z plus.
I've lost count. I can't
yet.
keep track of all the labels. I lose count myself, to be honest.
Absolutely. Anusha wins on that one.
Okay, cool. And you guys were, fun fact, classmates in college. Tell me that story of, why you said that, hey, I'll team up with my classmate to do something like this, Deepti.
So Anusha and I have known each other for about 15 years or so now, and we were friends. Well, we were classmates to begin with, and then became close friends in business school. Our paths took a little bit of different turns. I moved back. I was in the United States. That's where I was living. So I stayed there. Anusha spent in the US after business school, but then moved back to Bombay. We both did consulting, but then we took a bit of different tracks where I went into product and general management, and Anusha focused more into startups, especially e-commerce startups, kids-focused startups, which is great experience for what we're doing now. But our paths didn't converge professionally till about last year, where we were both in a transition position. I had sold my last startup, and Anusha had scaled her previous startup to a point where she was ready for something new. So we decided, well, we like each other, we trust each other, we have the same values, and we kept in touch very well over the last 15 years. We also have two things. We have complementary personalities. So Anusha is the calmer, the more mature at times person in our relationship, if you may, while I'm the more, let's get stuff done, let's think about it later, like go. And I think we balance each other well from a personality perspective.
That's a good yin and yang situation.
Absolutely. But also from a skill set perspective, Anusha is very strong on the operations front, on the strategy front. I'm more on the product and tech front. And as we thought about building a technology company that helps parents be better parents for their kids and equip their kids for the future in better ways,
right,
I felt like she would be a great partner, and I hope she would agree. But that's
super.
Where we are.
She's like, Anusha's in cloud 9 right now. She'll get back to you in some time. She's like, Deepti hasn't said this stuff to me in a long time. My God.
You can't give too much love too often, huh? You gotta make it exclusive.
Fair enough. But you know what? This is such a cool story. But I want to kind of figure out, there are so many learning platforms out there, and how Lesson Leap kind of sets themselves apart. I want to talk about that. If I log on to your website, right? What can I do if I'm a parent? What can I see? And more specifically, what would attract me to Lesson Leap? Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. So our platform is about building a holistic sort of personality in children, right? So kids already go to school, they already get a lot of the fundamental basics that they would need from an academic standpoint, but there's more than academics when it comes to success in life. And that's something both Deepti and I feel very strongly about. We've sort of been seeped in sort of extracurricular activities growing up, and we believe that those skills that we developed through those activities have been a barometer of our success as we've grown up. So that was kind of the guiding light, and we said we want to have activities, classes, courses, opportunities for children to be able to develop holistically, and that is what you will see when you come on the website, right? It's about building life skills, and one of the core life skills for us is communication. So that is sort of front and center as you get onto the website. So you'll see a whole bunch of courses for kids. There's the speech, there's the reading, writing, there's the art, all different facets of communication, right? That you will see. And it's all about doing things with a small group and having loads of fun, right? Like learning needs to be about having fun. It needs to be about building bonds. And that's kind of what we focus on.
So, if I may ask, a kid in India, hypothetically, right? Deepti is all the way in Amsterdam, right? Let's say, Deepti, I don't know if you have kids. Correct me if I'm wrong here. You do?
No, one is on the way, but
Okay.
yes.
Oh, wow.
Not yet.
Congratulations. Okay, cool. So, when you look at learning from that perspective, the fundamentals remain the same across the world. You're trying to build kids with kindness, with empathy, with real life skills, and with communication skills and stuff like that. So, how do you guys kind of skew it when it comes to people from different countries? Deepti?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think it's the core values that parents want to instill in their kids. It is absolutely universal. It's the how, and it's the mode of communication. Not to overuse the word communication is different. So, for example, we're actually very timely. We're launching in Europe. We just had our first 5 or 6 test cohorts run through our programs in the last month, but we're taking a different angle where it's about helping them learn English as a way to communicate and develop these values. So while in India, our courses are already for advanced English speakers because that's the mode of instruction in schools, we're catering our classes and our programs in Europe to be about learning those same skills, but also while improving your English skills, practicing with fellow English speakers, which is something that continental Europe, the kids growing up here don't get access to because they revert back to the local regional languages, right? So it's more about the content of the program, the outcomes you're driving towards, right? In Europe, it's more about learning certain vocabulary words and being able to communicate around real life topics, which is a bit more common in school already in India, but in Europe, we're bringing that into the extracurricular classes. So it's the how more than the what we're teaching.
Right, and you skew it based on the country. It's not the same. Yes. Like it's not like you put one in and then it's like it's going to remain the same for India, Europe. It's not the same. That's beautiful. I really like that. Okay, cool. I'm sure in your tenure of lesson leave that you kind of told me about, you guys have had some speed bumps and some that you look back on fondly, or some great stories where you're like, this was a real fun story to tell at a party. Would you guys like to tell me some of those? Anusha, let's start with you.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of ups and a lot of downs, as you would see at any startup, right? I think one of the tricky things was actually setting the company up, right? And setting it up in India, to be precise, because we are a global company. We're headquartered in the US, but obviously you have to set up an Indian entity. That was a tricky one. Navigating the Indian system, I think, was trickier than I anticipated, probably because we were trying to make it as a subsidiary. So that was one interesting sort of facet, which took up a few months, but we're over the hump now, so it's good. I think the one thing we thought would be tricky, but which didn't end up being as tricky, was the remote working, right? So Deepti and I started off in 2 different countries. Our team is fully remote, but staying in touch. We talk to each other at least once a day. We're on Slack all the time. There's enough kind of modes of communication, and I think the trust that we've had from the beginning has helped, right? But I would say, like, we've managed to build a team of 7 to 8 people. Not easy, but we managed it along the way, like really cool people. And we've managed to build a sense of belonging, even though, like, we don't, like, I have physically never met half the team, right? Because they sit in a different continent, and with COVID, it hasn't happened. I think, that's something that we've done pretty well, but it hasn't been easy, right? Like, we've worked at it to make sure that everybody feels like they're part of the team.
That's nice. Deepti, any story that you'd like to tell me in the tenure of Lesson Leap that comes to your mind? You're like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah, no, I think it's I wouldn't call it a setback, but actually a great learning opportunity for Anusha and I. And I also want to mention it as two female founders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remote female founders. We always second guess ourselves, and we always feel like a bit of an imposter syndrome of, can we, despite our backgrounds and our experiences, can we really do this? And it's refreshing to have investors on board and friends and family who remind us of the impact we're having, even though we're just starting off, the impact we're having on kids' lives, on parents' lives, and the impact and legacy we have the opportunity to build. And Anusha and I just have to constantly remind ourselves that, which is something that I want to mention, because I think a lot of female founders fall into this trap of not thinking they can do it, and the progress that they're making is not enough if they're type A personalities. And we've come on the journey. We have a long ways to still go on the journey, but it's refreshing to keep reminding ourselves of what we are doing is impactful. When you talk to our customers, they love us, and just reminding ourselves that we are building something meaningful is just a journey as a founder that we've really enjoyed, and I'm sure we will continue to for many years to come.
Awesome. And I think it's also a fun thing for me, because I get to say that I spoke to you guys in your initial years of Lesson Leap. So that's a fun story for me to tell as well. But I wish you both all the very, very best. This is such a cool story. And like you said, I mean, it didn't even come to my mind the minute you said yes to women founders who second guess themselves. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Didn't even think of that. But so cool to, I think, in a very indirect way, you inspire a lot of other women out there as well. Because if you guys can do it, in their heads, they're thinking, hey, we can do it too. So that's also a nice story to tell. Again, I wish you both all the very best, not only for Lesson Leap, but Deepti, for your baby on the way. For Anusha, with your two kids, because I'm sure 6 and 8 year olds, they got a bundle of energy. So all the very best with that. And hey, I don't know, Deepti, maybe once your baby kind of comes about, maybe you can think of enrolling your baby in this amazing little platform called Lesson Leap. I thought they're pretty good. Check them out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sign me up.
Yeah.
We even get an employee discount. Just kidding.
The website is Lesson Leap, LESSONLEAP.com. You can check them out online. Ladies, before I let you go, anything you'd like to say to parents out there, a little message to parents out there? I'll leave that to you guys. Anusha.
Yeah, it's been a tough year, I think, for all of us. And doing it with little kids in tow hasn't been easy. So just wanted to say gold star to every parent who's gone through homeschooling in this last year, and hope that platforms like Lesson Leap make your life just a tiny bit easier by offering you the opportunity to have something fun for your kids to do during the year.
Awesome. Deepti?
Yeah, I mean, I as someone who is excited yet terrified of being a new parent, I immense respect as we talk to our customers, as I see Anusha being the super mom she is. I'm in awe of parents more than I've ever been as I encroach on the new adventure personally. So just want to echo Anusha's thoughts around it's the toughest job y'all have and I will have soon. And we're coming out of it in a very tough circumstance in a very good way. So just excited about post-COVID world to live in.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. It's been great to hear your story, and I wish you both all the very best again. Thank you.
Thank you, Kay, for having us.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, then subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss out on more content.